This time on Real Screaming Kayaks, we head down to Rotorua in search of freshwater species trout. It's an awesome time. We have some epic fishing and we also learn from an old master. We announce yet another competition winner for this month. All this and more coming up on Real Screaming Kayaks.
With first fish, and it's off! Screaming!
This time on New Zealand Destination, we head to Rotorua, located in the upper mid-North Island of New Zealand. Our first stop was the Ngongataha hatchery that is run by Eastern Region Fish and Game. To fish for trout in freshwater, you need a licence, and this was quickly sorted out when we visited the office at Fish and Game. After this, we took some time to have a look around the hatchery. What you'll find during your visit is fingerlings, which are young trout at various stages of development. And one of the cool things about this hatchery is they are solely growing fish and breeding them, and have a program in place where they release these into the various lakes around Rotorua. So Fish and Game are providing fish for anglers to catch in the future. If you've never fished for trout before, coming and visiting a place like this can be really useful. And one of the things we noticed while being here around these fish was how easily they can be spooked. Any sudden movements when you approach these ponds would have them heading off in the opposite direction away from you. With this fish species being so finicky, it was certainly going to be a challenge for us to see if we could catch them from the kayaks. And our hope of taking advantage of our stealth ability was high for the next day. The Rotorua district has over 18 lakes to choose from. All of them offer pristine, crystal clear waters and are home to a vast array of wildlife. Lake Rotoiti is our location for this trip, and at this time of the year, which is mainly March, the fish tend to congregate under the thermoclines at a certain depth, making it ideal to target them using jigging techniques. But also, I was keen to try a bit of soft plastic fishing. Joining me for this adventure is Damien Townsend from Coromandel and kayak fishing legend from Taranaki, Herb Spanigal. We launched in near perfect conditions, and with a favourable forecast, it was looking likely that we were going to have no wind all day. So here we are, day one. Woohoo, so excited to be here. We're on Lake Rotoiti, freshwater fishing. This is something completely different. I've done a bit of fishing before on the lakes down in Taupo, but this is something completely new. So we're here today with Damien Townsend joining me and Herb Spanigal. We know Herb from past experiences out fishing in the Taranaki region for albacore tuna. So super excited. We've just launched at the beach right on the lake, and there's trout jumping everywhere around here. So the signs are looking pretty good for today, and I can't wait. So please note that all artificial lures we were using are non-scented soft plastics. soft baits. I've got one of these Berkeley power baits on, little smelt type bait, and I'm already into one. I just cannot believe it. You know, soft baits, eh? Who would have thought? And it's a good first trout, nice red rainbow. Took it on the way up as I was bringing it up off the bottom. I'm using a little 1/6 of an ounce Nitro Bream Pro jig head, and mate, I knew the softies were going to be a bit of fun for me out here. This is great. This fish is running around. A totally different scenario than what you'd get with the, you know, on the salt water. And already I'm in. I've literally been on the water 2 minutes. Unbelievable. So I'm just playing this fish out nice and easy. I've got a light drag, and yeah, trout number 1. Here we go. Look at that. Woo! All right, I'm going to keep this guy in the water for a minute. And there you go, there's that little softie. Look at that. That caught me the trout. This trout's come unhooked already. There we go. Look at that. Nice little rainbow. Woo-hoo-hoo! You beauty. Now we're going to let this one go. See you, bud. Off he goes. Oh, he's floating. Trout can be such hard fighters, and what happens is when they're caught down in about 20 to 30 metres, they tend to run straight for the surface, almost giving themselves barotrauma. But with a bit of nurturing, they eventually come right and can go back successfully to swim and carry on as usual.
I don't really know what I'm doing with these fish, and I feel bad now because this guy's already... They must be very, very... I'll just hold him there. There he goes. Woo! All right, you just got to take a bit of care with these fish, handle them gently, and yeah, fantastic. I'm so excited about this fishing. This is just so new for me.
And I just come over to see Herb, and he's got a nice one too. Our Herb's jigging for them. And that's a nice fat fish, Herb.
Yeah.
I put my first one back, but mine was slightly smaller than that. What a great looking fish, mate.
Huh?
Good fun, eh, Herb, already?
Absolutely stoked, you know, to be here on a day like today. Beautiful warm water, no current, no waves, you know, you just...
And we've literally been on the water 2 minutes, haven't we, mate? You know?
I wasn't even fishing.
And we've got Damien into one now. It's really cool to see people like Damien, you know, has come down here. He's never really done any freshwater trout fishing off a kayak before. And here he is into one. And he's using the jig at the moment. And there we go. Trout on. Don't be in too much of a hurry, mate. They go ballistic when they get by the boat, eh? Yep. There's a rise up over there just behind you. Well, hey, just when you thought you had him, eh? Nice. Look at that. First trout for Damien. Well, hey, sweet, eh?
Beautiful.
And many more to come.
Yep. Oh, well.
So you can see we're just so close to the shore here. There's, you know, Herb and Damien, and we're just like literally a stone's throw away from the shore. Oh, look at that. Mine was just sitting in the holder and I hooked up. Well, I was just filming, trying to capture some of these awesome dragonflies. There's quite a lot of dragonflies around, and while I just stuck my rod in the holder. I've got the softie down there, and while it's just sitting there, next thing, whoop, my rod starts going dip dip dip, and sure enough, fish on. So it just shows you, even just sitting there, they'll come up and hit them. So this is just proven that these soft bait, the first one I caught, was not a fluke.
They don't fight very hard, these fish, when you're slowly bringing them up, although this one is swimming around quite a bit. But when they get closer to the kayak, they do tend to swim around a bit more and go ballistic. So, great fun. Absolutely stoked to be catching these fish. And there he goes, I can see him, oop, and he's off. And it pays not to have your drag done up too tight, you know. Nice soft drag, gently as she goes. Here it comes. Oh yeah, this looks better than the last one I got. Not a bad fish at all. I'm just taking my time with this fish. Here he comes. They go ballistic when they get up to the surface, you know. So take your time with them. I'm really loving this. I mean, look, a lot of people underrate trout. They call them mudfish and all this sort of stuff. But for me, any form of fishing is fun. And this here, this guy's doing some nice little runs, you know. Just superb fun. I mean, and the setting and everything that we're in here, it's just a beautiful spot. You know, the day is stunning. So, you know, I've caught this fish on this little soft bait, and this is a better one than the last one I had. He's tired out now, so we're going to get him in the net. There we go. Oh, yeah, what a great fish. He's going nuts on the deck. So there you go, check that out. Beautiful looking fish. He's not quite coloured up enough for what we want. So I'm going to try and get him back over now and see how he goes. Oh yeah, he went back straight away, that one, eh? Nice. Well, the boys are persevering with the flies, but me, I decided soft baits. I just can't. I've been getting some hits on them, and yeah, just the perseverance. Everyone else is using the jig flies, and I've just been drifting that soft bait through and working it up through sort of from about the bottom up to sort of 5 to up to about 19 meters. So working up about 5 or 6 meters off the bottom and then dropping it back down, and I've been getting some interest, you know. And finally, here's a fish that's swallowed it. And I just want to show you that soft bait in the corner of the mouth here. We've got a guest with us who's turned up, Alfie. So there you go, you can see that soft bait in there. And this is Alfie, by the way.
Al had turned up all the way from Tauranga and was there for the rest of the afternoon spending it with us. He turned out to be a real character.
So we're chasing Herb around. We're moving around. He's got quite a nice fish here by the looks of it.
That's
a great trout, eh?
yeah, look at that.
Nice fish, yeah, fantastic. And what a day. Look at the conditions.
While Herb was landing this fish, a lady came gliding in on her kayak.
Oh, look at that. Huh?
Awesome.
At over 80 years old, Herb is a true inspiration to watch catching trout from the kayak. His knowledge of freshwater fishing for trout spans over many decades. Herb has even created techniques for fly fishing.
Wow, what a stunning fish, mate. That's great, isn't it?
All right.
Got to be happy with that. And we're going to give it to this lovely lady behind us.
Yes.
Herb, being the true gentleman, offered up the fish to the lady in the kayak. I couldn't believe how lucky we'd been all day so far. With it still yet to stop for lunch, we enjoyed plenty more fish coming on board, and it was a pattern that seemed to stick for the rest of the morning. look at these conditions. Just like a mill pond, glassy. This is this thing with this style of fishing. It's not always about catching the fish, it's about the moment. And certainly, you know, we're in amongst some good company, so it's really nice. Like Herb was saying before, you know, he quite often come and does this by himself, but to have some company around just makes it all the better. And you know, we're here all day and amongst this paradise, you know, pretty much. And what I love is that New Zealand has so many diverse ranges of fish to catch and environments, and this is just one of them. With conditions so flat, calm and glassy, it was really easy to see one of the numerous number of dragonflies and demoiselles around on top of the lake, and watching them go about their business during the day fascinated me no end. Filming that demoiselle there and those dragonflies, and I'm just winding up my soft bait and whammo, hooked up, and not a bad fish either, I gotta say. Sweet. That just must have saw that fish coming up, and you know, I'm in a bit shallow and we were just all saying how there's no fish here, and boom, boomo, there she is. Hey, long fish, this one, very long. You know, it didn't relatively fight that much because, and there we go. You know, you got to use a net on these guys. I'm not a big one for nets. Normally it's the lip grippers, but with these guys, you've got to use a net. And there he is. He's sitting down there now. He's not going to come on board easy. He came up pretty quickly. He was obviously chasing that little replica Berkeley power bait that looks like a smelt. It's working well for me today. Who would have thought, eh? Soft baits, you know. They use them down in the South Island in the canals and that quite a bit, but up north here's not so much. And I'm impressed. I never realised the potential of these soft baits would be so successful. This is a long fish. Sweet, and look at that, the softy came out. You know, it's all about keeping the pressure on those fish, but look at that. Little tiny smelt worked for me yet again. Yeehaw. There we go. Check that out. Nice long trout, you know, he's quite a lengthy one. Beautiful colours on them, real dark on the top, you can see that. You know, great looking fish. Meanwhile, Herb continued to show us all how it was done, being the most experienced of us all in the group. It was a pleasure to watch, and he certainly was the most consistent of us all for the entire part of the morning. Absolutely manic just a minute ago. Herb hooks up, and of course I put the rod down in the holder and went to pick up the camera, and boom, sure enough, hook up, you know. And me being the person who likes a bit of a challenge, I basically thought, oh well, I'll try and record both bits of action. Me hooked up as well as Herb, and yeah, unfortunately my fish got off by the time I pulled out the camera and got filming Herb, and before I got to push record on the cameras that you know, my cameras, I lost the fish unfortunately. But yeah, the fishing seems to be coming on a bit. So, and this is what happens with trout fishing. You can have real quiet patches and then all of a sudden bang, back on again, you know. So good fun. I'm really enjoying this. We all are. We've all caught our fair share of fish today so far, and you know, still only early days, still, you know, midday, and you know, we haven't gone far from where we launched. That's the beauty of this type of fishing. Where those fish are, you stay. Just like any sort of fishing, you know, where there's fish, and you stay where those fish are. Herb with another one.
Little football.
Yeah, little football, eh? All these terms. What does football mean, Herb?
Well, you know, the old rugby ball.
Yeah.
Sort of short.
Bit of a
nicely deep shape.
So that references in terms of, you know, refers to its shape type thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we just stopped, came back to shore, had a bit of lunch, and we're out again for this afternoon. It's been a great morning already so far. We've each probably caught, you know, a good 6 to 8 trout each, and we're going to continue on this afternoon. A little bit more wind has kicked in now, as you would expect, but this is a great thing about these pedal kayaks. You know, we can just deal with this kind of conditions, no worries. But yeah, we're going to get back out there. I'm still keen to give these soft baits a good whirl for the rest of the day. I just we just come offshore and I saw some fish on the drop off there, and I thought, oh, I gotta put a soft bait down here. And I got down there, I'm fishing a really light head, and oh, it just got off. But never mind, because the signs are good for the afternoon. I'm gonna drop it straight back down again, because yeah, I was fighting that fish for a bit. Unfortunately, I dropped it. That happens. It was fighting pretty hard, and it was up at about 7 meters by the looks of the sounder. But yeah, she just got off. Never mind. It's fishing. Oh, this is great. There's some really awesome fish here. This has got a bit of weight to it. I don't know how big it is. It's really hard to tell, but yeah, I'm like just slowly lifting this fish up. These soft baits are doing the business, these Berkeley power baits, you know. Awesome. But yeah, this guy hasn't really woken up. He's come up though. He's up at about 10 meters, and there he goes. He's off. Did a little run. Great fun. Oh yeah, he feels solid, definitely. So we'll see what happens. He's just done a bit of a tear off now. There he goes. Doing a bit of a peel off. Yeah, great. Great stuff. This is awesome, just out the front of where we just launched, you know. So here he is, he's up on the surface. We'll just see if we can get him around the other side of the kayak. So he's just, no, he's not that big, but he's, you know, still good fun. Nothing wrong with that. He's got beautiful colours, this fish. Really deep, rich red rainbow trout. So yeah, it's so nice to see them here. You know, and he really swallowed that fish, that soft bait, right in the corner of the mouth. There we go. Yeehaw. Not a big trout, but a feisty little trout. There we go. Yeehaw, and we're going to let this one go now. There he goes. They are full of beans. We're already getting into them. Damien's got himself a nice one. In fact, he took my lead after getting so much, after seeing me flicking the softies and getting into them, he decided he had to try it himself, and bammo, fish on. That's quite a nice fish you got there, mate. Beautiful colour. It's quite a deep fish, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Damien's using a different colour to me. He's got the bluey sort of colour with the yellow, and look at that, it's done the trick. So there's something to be said about these soft baits that we've got. Definitely a very cool way of catching them. And he's going to let it go now. And it went back, no worries, that one.
Yeah, beauty.
And Herb's now hooked, just caught another one. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see.
A bit hard now with the waves with my kayak.
Yeah.
You guys with the paddle kayak. I envy you guys, honestly. I gotta paddle and try a fish at the same time. It just doesn't work.
There you go, there's Herb's fish. Another nice little rainbow. Beautiful. Herb's at a bit of a disadvantage compared to us. The old weather's chopped up a bit now, and like we're paddling into the wind and sort of holding ourselves, whereas Herb's got to set himself up for a drift, and then basically, you know, he's got to do a drift and then paddle back up. So it takes a bit of an effort for him. So he's very envious of us in the pedal power.
Absolutely. I'm bloody envious, I can tell you.
Alright, so I decided I'd sort of try out the fly jigging for a change. You know, I've proven that the soft baits are successful, and whoa, there we go, doing a bit of a jump, this fish. And I hooked one on the jig. So yeah, be interesting to see what colour fly this took. This is my first fish using the jigging technique with a fly. 3 flies on board, and this is one of Pat Swift's flies sets that he makes for jigging. And yeah, it looks like a pretty good fish too. Awesome. They go nuts when they come up, you know. Once they get up to the surface, they certainly put a little bit more heat on. And this is the thing with these flies, you can't rush it. Light line, little hooks, and yeah, not unhappy with this trout. There we go. Sweet. Come on, boy, and you've got to be careful. There's quite a few hooks in this, so you've got to watch it. That's what I caught him on, that little one there, that green colour there with the red on it. And let's get him out. Beautiful looking fish, you know, great patterns on them. There we go. Look at that. Lovely. And down he goes. So yeah, this afternoon I think I'll try this technique out now for the rest of the day. I gave the soft baits a really good go and they did the bizzo. But time for something new. But I'm using this little light jig set here, the 2-ounce micro jig set that I've got from Jigstar, with the slow jerk rod and a Maxwell hybrid reel. And you know, this is the thing, most of your gear can be adapted for this style of fishing, you know, lighter the better. And I've got a jig on the bottom of this too, so yep, so we'll go back up and have another go.
And coming up in part 2 of Real Screaming Kayaks episode 14, we have more hot trout action from Rotoiti. Then we sit down and talk finer points of trout fishing using flies for jigs with Herb Spanigal. Herb also covers techniques for success, plus the finer points of matching the hatch when fishing. All this coming up in part 2 of Real Screaming Kayaks episode 14. Available through the NZ Kayak Fishing Patreon channel or Vimeo on demand. Special thanks to our sponsors. Outdoor Sports New Zealand provide the Old Town kayaks and ocean kayak that get us to the action. HUMMINBIRD provides the technology that finds the fish. Railblazer customises our kayaks. Sharkskin protects the body against the elements. Neptune assists with the free diving, and Pelage captures the seafood. Jigstar rods fight the fish, and Zest jigs attract the fish.